What's going on, guys, and welcome to my FPL Gameweek 3 team selection video. We're going to be having a look at how we're going to line up for Gameweek 3, but we're also going to be looking at how we performed in Gameweek 2. So without further ado, let's waste no more time and let's get into it. So as you guys can see, we managed to get a huge score of 92 points in Gameweek 2, and I'm really happy with that. It meant that I got a green arrow all the way up to 200k, which is really nice. As you guys can see, we did captain the main man Erling Haaland, who managed to get a hat-trick, which is fantastic. Of course, I was close to using that triple captain, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but I decided against it because I really would prefer to use my triple captain in a double game week. But nonetheless, Haaland did the business. Really happy with that. Rodrigo Muniz and Alexander Isak, they both flopped miserably. First things first, Newcastle looked really poor against Bournemouth, and Isak didn't get many chances. So I'm really disappointed with that. But one thing I will say is that I'm going to keep Alexander Isak because I do like the sort of next two fixtures that Newcastle do have. And Isak is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League. So I'm not going to panic. I'm going to keep him. And the same sort of goes for Rodrigo Muniz. I do think that he can score goals, and he actually got a lot of chances in game week 2. Unlike Alexander Isak, Muniz should have really scored a few goals because he got the chances, whereas Alexander Isak didn't really. But yeah, Muniz got the chances, and I do think the goals will come. And he's someone that I'm probably going to stick with because I like the fixtures that Fulham do have for like the next 4 to 5 game weeks. So yeah, I'm not going to sort of panic or rage transfer out Muniz. I'm still sort of happy with him, with owning him, given the fact that Fulham have good fixtures. Now we move on to the midfield. They done really good for me, guys. Diogo Jota got an assist, which is really nice. Anthony Gordon scored a late goal against Bournemouth. Was really happy with that because although yeah, Newcastle were pretty poor so far as a team, I've not been impressed with Newcastle, but I'm hoping their form is going to start to pick up. But yeah, Gordon managed to score, which was really nice. It was a great cross from Harvey Barnes, and Anthony Gordon was there at the back post. Bukayo Saka got an assist against Aston Villa as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And Hudson-Odoi, yeah, he blanked once again for me, which is really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, really poor. I mean, I watched the highlights from on Match of the Day, and he was sort of close to getting some returns, but still, I'm not really seeing enough from Hudson-Odoi, if I'm being honest. But my defense, guys, did really well for me this week. I'm not gonna lie. Every single one of my defenders actually got a return. Pedro Porro got 6 points from a clean sheet. Trent got 6 points from a clean sheet as well, and he was very unlucky not to walk away from that Brentford game with some attacking returns. But Robinson, although he conceded, he actually got an assist, which is really nice. And then Raya got the clean sheet and all 3 bonus points, so he got a huge 10-pointer. So I'm really happy with that, and really happy with my overall sort of game week 2 performance. And the only one unlucky thing, guys, is that I put Amad Diallo on the bench. Amad Diallo, of course, scored against Brighton, and I benched him because realistically I thought he wouldn't get good minutes, but he actually played 90 minutes, and of course he scored a goal in the second half. So maybe if I knew he would have started 90 minutes, I probably would have started him ahead of Hudson-Odoi. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I had my doubts about Amad, which is why I benched him. But nonetheless, it was a really good week overall. 92 points, up to 200k. Let's go and have a look at sort of the transfer that I have made, because guys, I've already made my transfer for game week 3. So let's go and have a look at who that player is. So as you guys can see, we've taken out Callum Hudson-Odoi and we've bought in the main man Morgan Rogers at the price of 5 million. Yes, that's right, guys. I bought in Morgan Rogers just before he was about to rise in price because I wanted to avoid that. So we got him in early at the price of 5 million, and now at the time of recording he's 5.1. But yeah, thankfully we got him for a little bit cheaper, and I'm really happy with this pick. I really am. First things first, I want to point out that I really do want to attack the good fixtures that that Aston Villa have. I think they've got some of the best fixtures that any team can have in the next 4 games. As you guys can see, in game week 3 it's Leicester away, in game week 4 it's Everton at home, in game week 5 it's Wolves at home, then in game week 6 Ipswich away. These 4 games are absolutely fantastic, guys. I cannot stress that enough. And then for me, Morgan Rogers has passed the eye test. On the eye test, he's looked absolutely fantastic. He was running rings around Arsenal's midfield in the last game. He should have walked away from that game with an assist. He created a big chance for Ollie Watkins, and on another day Ollie Watkins does put that in the back of the net, and then on another day it means that Morgan Rogers does walk away from that game with an assist. So I'm really happy with what I've seen from Morgan Rogers. And another thing that I want to point out as to why I'm really happy with Morgan Rogers is he's getting 90 minutes, guys. in both games, he's played 90 minutes, all right? Leon Bailey's getting subbed off earlier. Watkins is getting subbed off earlier, but somehow Rodgers remains on that pitch, and I'm really, really happy with that. So I just think at the price of 5 million, it's a no-brainer for me. He really looks like he could be one of the best value picks in the game at the moment. So I really, really do like Morgan Rodgers. Now, I also want to point out, I did consider some other players like Noni Madueke, Leon Bailey, and Smith Rowe. But first things first, I will say this. I do think Madueke and Bailey are good options, but if I were to go for these players, my only route to them is to either take out Jota, Gordon, or Saka. That's the only way I could get to Leon Bailey and Madueke, and quite frankly, I'm going to be honest, I do not want to take out any of those players. I want to keep Jota, I want to keep Gordon, and I want to keep Bukayo Saka. So for me, because of that, I just didn't want to go to Leon Bailey, and I didn't want to go to Madueke. Now, of course, I could have bought in Smith Rowe before he rose in price, but again, personally, I do like Smith Rowe as an option. I really, really do. But because Rodgers has better fixtures in my opinion and is slightly cheaper and allows me, he frees up money to get to Salah, which we'll get onto in a second. That's the reason why I went for Rodgers. I think there was more positives for my team by going for Rodgers instead of Smith Rowe. So yeah, really, really happy with that. But that transfer has been confirmed. I just want to let you guys know that has been already made, of course, which I have already said, to be fair. But yeah, we're going to move on now to sort of my future transfer plans for game week 4, because yeah, some things have happened, which means we're gonna have to sort of change the original plan that we had. So we're gonna head over to planfpl.com and we're gonna have a look at some possible transfers for game week 4. All right guys, so we're on planfpl.com and I quickly wanted to show you guys what my original plan was to do for game week 4, because I really did want to get in Mohamed Salah. So this was the original plan. Of course, we brought in Rodgers, but in game week 4 I was actually going to take out Bukayo Saka and Anthony Gordon for Mohamed Salah and Minte. That was sort of like the original plan, but guys, because Salah has gone up in price, he's now costing 12.6 million instead of 12.5, and that now means I'm 0.1 million short, so I can no longer do this, and that hurts guys. I'm not gonna lie, that really does hurt. Now I don't know what to do, because I could just avoid Salah. I really could just avoid Salah and I could go to someone like Cole Palmer. But we're going to discuss this further in my Game Week 4 transfer plans. But at the moment, I'm a bit unsure as to what I'm going to do. But I really do want to try and find a route to get Mohamed Salah in for Game Week 4, if I'm honest. I think Palmer is a good pick, don't get me wrong. He's got good fixtures. But I just really want Salah for Nottingham Forest at home and Bournemouth at home. As you guys can see in Game Week 4 and 5, man, those two fixtures, my word, Salah could score big in those games, and I really do want him. So yeah, I am going to discuss sort of my Game Week 4 transfer plans in another video, but I just wanted to show you guys that was the original plan, and that's part of the reason why we did bring in Rodgers. But yeah, maybe I will say there is a possibility of taking out Saka and Isak instead of Gordon, and then it becomes Salah and maybe a João Pedro. That is a possibility. That definitely is a possibility. So yeah, that is I just wanted to sort of give you guys a backstory as to sort of my idea behind also bringing Rodgers in, because it was part of like a I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but it was part of like a 2 to 3 week plan, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's the idea behind the Rodgers transfer. It freed up some funds to make me afford Salah, but obviously now we're gonna have to find a different route to get him in. But yeah, we'll discuss that more in a transfer plans video. But I just wanted to let you guys I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what I was thinking. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to move on now into my Game Week 3 team selection. Alright guys, it's time to have a look at my final Game Week 3 team selection. So, starting off in the goalkeeper position, we've got David Raya, and for the back three, we've got Mykolenko, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Robinson. So, with Raya, I'm really confident with him. I'm not going to lie, I think he's a great set and forget option. So, yeah, he's playing at home to Brighton in Game Week 3, and if I'm honest, I can see Arsenal getting a clean sheet, so really happy with him. Now, Mykolenko probably is a controversial one. First things first, if you guys don't know, I've actually lost money on Mykolenko. He's now costing 4.4 million, but I do have Pedro Porro on the bench, as you guys can see there. I could start Porro ahead of Mykolenko, but I really do think Newcastle are going to score quite a few goals in that game. They've actually got quite a good record recently against Spurs in terms of the amount of goals they've scored against them at home as well. So yeah, I really do see Newcastle scoring. Yes, I know Pedro Porro does have that attacking threat, but for me, I just don't see him getting anything from that game. I'll be totally honest. So I've decided to go with Mykolenko and the Everton defender, even though Everton look absolutely terrible defensively. I just think still, I actually do think Everton have more of a chance of getting a clean sheet than Spurs, if I'm totally honest. So yeah, I've decided to go with Mykolenko. fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Maybe Sean Dyche can just get a 0-0 draw or something like that. I don't know, man. But yeah, hopefully he does get something. And then we got Trent Alexander-Arnold in there against Man United away. Not really expecting him to get a clean sheet, I'll be honest. I do think Liverpool win the game, but I do think Man United do get a goal, because at the end of the day it is at Old Trafford. So yeah, hopefully Trent can maybe get an assist or two. That would be great, but if I'm honest, I'm not really expecting a clean sheet from that game either. So yeah, and then we've got Robinson as well. He's got the good attacking threat, playing against Ipswich away from home in game week 3. Once again, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Ipswich score. So you could say it's not looking good for me for my defense, because only Raya is the one I'm pretty confident with in getting a clean sheet. But Robinson, just like Trent Alexander-Arnold, does have that attacking threat, so hopefully he can get another attacking return like he did last game. That would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that's the defense. If I'm honest, although my defense has been good for me in the first 2 games, I'm not really expecting too much from them. I'm really not. But let's move on to the midfield. So moving on into the midfield, guys, we've got Diogo Jota, Anthony Gordon, Bukayo Saka and Morgan Rogers. First things first, we'll start off with Diogo Jota. Some may say it's a tough game against Man United, but from an attacking point of view, from an attacker's perspective, I think it's a good fixture for them. So Jota, I wouldn't be surprised if he does walk away from that game with a goal or 2, to be honest with you. Yeah, Liverpool over the years have done pretty well against Manchester United. So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Diogo Jota does get a goal in that game. And also, Liverpool look really, really good this season. They just look so good. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jota gets some points from that game. So I'm pretty confident with him. We've also got Anthony Gordon in there playing against Tottenham at home. I'm not going to lie, I think Newcastle score 3+ goals in that game. Tottenham, in my opinion, still are pretty poor defensively. So I'm backing Newcastle to win that game. I'm backing Newcastle to score some goals. I'm not going to lie. It could be a draw, to be fair, because I do think Spurs will also score some goals. But we don't really care about that, because we don't have any Newcastle defenders, and I've got my Spurs defender on the bench. So all I want from that game is just a lot of goals. And I think Anthony Gordon can definitely walk away from that game with some goals and assists. So pretty confident with him. We've also got Bukayo Saka as well at home to Brighton. Really expected him to deliver. I think Brighton against Man United, although they won the game, they didn't look that great, if I'm honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal just dominate that game and win sort of like 3-0. I wouldn't be surprised if Bukayo Saka walks away from that game with like 2 assists or 1 goal, 1 assist. So yeah, really happy with Saka for game week 3. Really confident in him getting some returns. And then we've got our new signing, our new transfer, Morgan Rogers, away to Leicester. Leicester are really poor defensively, all right? They are one of the worst teams in the Premier League. I think we all know this already. So I'm really confident with Villa winning that game, and I think now Villa will get the 3. I do think Villa will bounce back from that Arsenal game and they'll get the 3 points, and I can see them scoring quite a few goals. I know they're away from home, but still, I don't think that matters too much. As I said, Leicester are pretty poor and one of the worst defensive teams in the Premier League this season. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty confident with this midfield. I'm pretty happy with this midfield. But let's move on to the forwards. So moving on to the forwards, we've got Rodrigo Muniz, Erling Haaland and Alexander Isak. And yes, guys, as you can see, Erling Haaland will be my captain this week away to West Ham. I think West Ham have actually been one of the worst defensive teams in the league as well. I'm not going to lie. Even when you look at the expected goals conceded, they've been really, really poor. So I wouldn't be surprised if Man City score like 3+ goals in that game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Erling Haaland gets at least 2 goals. So he's going to be my captain. Feeling pretty good about him. I hope he can deliver. Now Rodrigo Muniz, where do I start about this guy, man? Surely now he's got to return, guys. Surely now Rodrigo Muniz, he owes me a goal. Last game against Leicester at home, he should have scored. He should have put that ball in the back of the net. Now it's his redemption arc. Game week 3 is Rodrigo Muniz's redemption arc. He has to deliver for me, guys. He has to deliver. He's playing away to Ipswich. It's a good fixture for him. I think he can get on the score sheet. One thing about Muniz is that he's actually getting the chances. He had so many chances last game against Leicester where he really should have scored. So at least we know he's getting the chances. And last season he showed that he is capable of actually scoring quite a few goals and being relatively clinical. So hopefully Muniz can just sort of lock in and deliver the goods and actually show some clinical finishing, because right now it's not looking good. But hopefully he can get on the score sheet, and I am pretty confident that he will finally get his first goal of the Premier League season. Now, Alexander Isak, Spurs at home again. I'm not gonna lie, I think he scores. I think he scores in that game. I think Spurs at home is a really good fixture for Newcastle. So yeah, hopefully he does deliver. He's actually going to be my vice captain as well, and that shows you that I'm really confident in Newcastle actually scoring quite a few goals in that game. Like I said, they've got quite a good record in recent years at home to Spurs. So yeah, that's why I've gone for Isak vice captain. But all in all, I'm really happy with this team. Of course, on the bench, Ahmad is at home to Liverpool, and then Pedro Porro is away to Newcastle, and then we got Barco, unfortunately, who's on loan outside of the Premier League at Sevilla. So yeah, that's how we are shaping up right now for game week 3. Of course, we still got one remaining transfer left as well. I actually did roll the transfer previously, so I only used one of my free transfers, so we still got one free transfer. Our squad value is also 99.9 million with 0.5 in the bank. Things are looking pretty decent at the moment, guys. But yeah, this is my Game Week 3 team selection. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, smash a big thumbs up on the video. And guys, all I can really say to you, man, is good luck for Game Week 3. And I'll catch you for the deadline stream. But until then, I'm out. Peace.